this group. I definitely think they're going to come out with their normal drafts. I'm sure these teams have been practicing all week long, and they're going to make sure that they try their best to get that win. So just look for the meta.
Yep. Have you have any? Do you have a prediction on who you think's going to win tonight?
I think Celsior Lions is definitely a strong team. I'm not sure who's on Team Resonant. I haven't seen them play very much, but I do have experience watching Celsior Lions. They were competitors in Viz Pro most recently. I believe they played Team Nova, and they did perform pretty well against them in that Viz Pro series. So with the experience that Team Celsior Lions has, I think that they're going to be able to do well.
Yeah, definitely. And we do have this draft get underway here. We have the obvious, pretty prominent bans here. We got Turnwalker being banned and Varia. Usually what we see, but we do have that Lyra first pick. I know Grace has been a really popular captain here in this meta too. Do you think Lyra can out-heal Grace, or do you prefer Grace over Lyra?
Well, I definitely think it's interesting they go for this Lyra first pick. As you said, Turnwalker, Varia bans, standard meta bans, and we're going to see a Black Feather come out from Team Celsior Lions. They're going to look to secure that carry. Definitely a good first pick on B side. Can go CP or weapon power, both being very strong. But as you were saying, the Lyra compared to the Grace, I personally believe that the Grace is the second best captain in the game, right outside of Turnwalker. Grace's Divine Intervention. With that Echo, it's definitely going to be able to put down a lot of heals, and single target healed compared to Lyra heal. Really just depends on the team compositions, but Lyra's do generally tend to lose out to Grace's in the higher elo here. So it's personal preference. It comes down. We're gonna see a Vox ban come out from Celsior Lions. They're gonna look to take away that mortal wound. It looks like Vox, a very strong carry here in this meta. Really good mortal wounds. I definitely think they're going to be leading into a captain that will be able to heal. So look out for the Grace here on B side or Celsior Lions as we lead into an A side ban here. What do you think that they're going to take now that the Vox is off the board?
I think they might ban away this Ringo. He's been really popular, and Blackfeather does fairly well into that Ringo. So
Yeah,
I
Ringo
think,
is definitely a strong pick here in this meta.
yeah, that Spell Sword double monocle build is really popular.
Yeah, and you were right. The Ringo will get banned out here. So two of the top carries coming out immediately in this pick and ban phase of the draft. Another pick here for Celsior Lions before we go to the double pick for side of Resonant. And the Grace will come out as predicted for Celsior Lions. They're going to be looking for just a lot of dive. It looks like if this Black Feather does go weapon power, Grace does have that power to just drop two Divine Interventions onto Black Feather. He can be very tanky in the late game with an Atlas Pauldron, an Aegis, or a Metal Jacket. A Serpent Mask at that breaking point, he's going to be able to survive a really long time and really ramp up his damage. So Grace, definitely a good pick here. Definitely the strongest captain that they could have picked here. So it's going to be interesting to see what Team Resonant will pick into this Grace and Blackfeather now that they don't have a Vox available to them for those mortal wounds.
Yeah, it kind of puts the draft in like an interesting place here because you got pretty much the top three laners banned away here, and then that Blackfeather picked up. But they're gonna go ahead and go with that Taka pickup.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I guess the logic is the mortal wounds going into the heal, maybe.
Maybe. Taka does have a mortal wound in his X-Retsu, and I believe his perk does give a mortal wound every time that you hit. It also gives that movement speed bonus. Taka, for the purpose of the mortal wound, definitely a good pick here, just off of theory crafting alone. But they're gonna have to pair it with a strong laner in this carry position. If they want to be able to counteract a Black Feather and a Grace, you're going to need something that can kind of backline while Taka's going in and being that distraction. And Sky will come out. Weapon Power Sky does bode well into the melee heroes. And when I talk about the melee heroes, I'm generally referring to the Ronas and the Black Feathers of this meta. With a Grace, you're often going to see those heroes paired with that Grace, and Weapon Power Sky does do very well. So look for the Sky to go Weapon Power in the lane. Go with that standard build. Poison Shiv is in that build path for this Sky, and I definitely think that they're rounding out a good comp here. They're going to have some mortal wounds and some good heals. So it's going to be interesting to see what Celsior Alliance does counter pick them with in this last pick of their B side.
In Team Resident, they've kind of built their draft mostly around sustain because Taka has his
Is
box there
Kaku.
where his Kaku where he's regenerating that health, and then they got the Lyra on top of that. And like you said, this guy's probably gonna be building a poison shift here too, so just a lot of sustain.
Ooh,
But the Fortress comes out. That's actually a really good pick into all three of those heroes right now.
Fortress is definitely a strong pick. Those wolves really going to be a nuisance for Takas as they can reveal him. Just follow him around as he's in box. But a good Lyra can definitely shut down a Fortress with those bright bulwarks. And a Black Feather too as well. Stop that dive in its tracks. So we're going to look to see if the Lyra on Team Resonant can make a big impact for her team. Just look for a lot of dive for the side of Team Celsior Lions, and we're going to load into this game here. Who do you think is going to take this game?
I really like Celsier's draft. I really love that Fortress pick.
Yeah.
If he does go that Aftershock Clockwork build, his wolves are on a really short cooldown. Like it's close to like 15 or 20 seconds, which would probably be half the fight. And he's really good. He's got the mortal wound for the heal. His wolves revealed Taka, and I mean he's good in this guy, but he's a lot better in the CP Sky. But I think it'll still be good because he's got his long tooth to get them onto that Sky when she does reposition. So I really like Celsier's draft.
Celsior definitely does have a good draft, really strong on the engage initially if that Bright Bulwark doesn't get used correctly. However, Resonant, like I said, it's just going to come down to this Lyra, and she's going to have to really focus on using that Bright Bulwark correctly. We're still waiting for the player to lock in, and he does. We're going to be starting this game shortly. But Celsior Lions definitely with a strong draft. A lot of mortal wounds with that fortress. I think it's just going to come down to how well each team plays into each other, and I'm definitely excited to start this game off.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited too. And we are starting this one up here. Teams loading in.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think each team's win condition is going to be here? What does each team have to focus on going into this game if they want to win that game and win that first couple fights? Because I definitely think the first couple fights will really help determine who comes out on top in this game.
I'd love to see Celsior just get in this jungle early because Taka has that really slow clear speed, especially not picking up any weapon like a weapon blade to help him clear. So I think if they can put the pressure on him early and just force him out of his jungle, they can snowball from there. But Fortress also doesn't have a quick clear speed either. But I think with
Interesting.
the help of this Grace hits pretty hard early.
Yeah, she does, and she is starting with that weapon blade, so we are going to see a lot of basic attack damage coming out.
Yeah,
Looks
I
like
think
Celsior Lions is going to start up this middle treant here. They're definitely going to be looking to get that early advantage here. VG John going to try and steal that uh, camp, but she's not going to be able to do that, and Nick 40 will continue on with his rotation as both the carries will run through the Celsior Lions jungle. Nick 40 also starting with 2 weapon blades, so they're really looking to capitalize on this early game.
Do you like this rotation coming out of Celsior, going down, getting that tree, and then reverse clearing their jungle, or would you prefer them to do
Well,
the more traditional back to front?
I think they definitely could have gone either way, but maybe Celsior Alliance does have a plan here going into their specific, practice rotation. In my opinion, Celsior wins that initial fight if they were to go to the traditional rotation, but they do opt to go for that middle treant, and getting it is always a win. We're gonna see Taka go back to his base, and Nick 40 is gonna be here in the tri bush, just gonna look around and see for the timer on that mid. He is going to rotate down on this Treant. It looks like he's going to be able to get this Treant again completely uncontested as Taka did port back to his base. He's just going to be waiting for his jungle to spawn. So it looks like starting that middle Treant was the right decision for Team Celsior Lions. And he's just going to be going on in his rotation, looking up here in the lane. Definitely a big wave over here for the side of Team Resonant. Jurioku with that Black Feather just going to be clearing out. You're gonna get some poke damage on that forward barrage. Just being pressured here under the turret. Half health here. They will candy that wave, and Grace will go in. Just in the laning phase here, just trying to see if they can get their gold.
How do you feel about this Taka build? Because typically you see at least one weapon blade, if not two out of Taka's, and his clear speed is just absolutely horrible right now. Do you think
Yeah,
that was the right choice for him?
I think Taka is a very early game based hero. Into a fortress, Taka definitely has the advantage, and when you are playing Taka into a fortress very early on, you are gonna wanna make sure you're invading, make sure you're not trying to look towards the late game because fortress does generally bode well. As we're gonna see a first blood come out here from Celsior Lions, and the second kill will come out. So 2-0 for Celsior Lions. A good Holy Nova will stun onto the Taka, and then Ace will come out for Nick 40 here.
Wow, that's a
And
that's a really early ace right there.
yeah, they got a fat wave. It looks like they're gonna take
Yeah.
this turret here. So definitely Celsior Lions just showing their experience, and another middle treant here if Nick 40 does decide to go for it. It looks like Grace might come down to rotate Apollo. Doing just that, he will come down with Nick 40, going to be looking to get that. And look at that. Taka's mid did just spawn. I'm not sure if Apollo is aware of that, but he might go in to contest that. No, they don't. They just decide to run through the jungle. Juryoku, interesting first item. We talked about the mortal wounds in the draft, but typically we see Black Feathers build that Serpent Mask first. How do you feel about that poison shift coming out of Black Feather here?
I definitely prefer the Serpent's Mask breaking point
Yeah,
build, but I understand why he went with the Mortal Wound. It does give the same amount of sustain. So I think I don't know because I know for a while the Poison Shiv and Starblade build was really popular for mostly jungle Black Feathers. So if he
yeah, that's
does that,
true.
it does do a lot of damage, but then he'd be putting off defense if he does want to go for that breaking point earlier as well.
It's
So
a pretty great it's a pretty great utility to the team early on. You generally look for fortresses to really start affecting the game with their mortal wound later on in the game, but with that poison shiv on the black feather, mortal wounds will come out earlier for the side of Celsior Lines, so they're definitely gonna be able to have an advantage coming into these first couple fights as Taka does continue with his aftershock build, no weapon blade to be seen. Nick 40 already with his aftershocks, so Fortress is really going to be starting to hit hard here. A lot of mortal wounds, and his wolves are up, so he can do a lot of damage in these fights. And it looks like the Bright Bulwark will stop a good engage coming out from Celsior Lions. Excellent play from VGN here. And that's what he has to do. He's got to use those bulwarks to stop that initial engage from Celsior Lions. And if you can stop that initial engage, they can definitely kite back with this guy and just position well from there.
yeah, Celsior too. They got that early advantage, but they really didn't invade. The really only CS difference between the jungles is coming from those three other treants that Nick 40 got. So they're
Yeah.
kind of slow playing this one. And Taka is level 6 with that aftershock. So we'll see if he wants to come up and try and gank this Black Feather because Black Feather only has that oak heart and that light armor there. So I don't know. I feel like Celsior they did really good to get in that early ace, but they didn't really capitalize on it. They didn't get anything from it. All they did was get that train again. They didn't even get that turret. So
Yeah, that turret is dangerously low. I'm not exactly sure how they didn't manage to get that turret. They did have a really large waves. It looks like Team Resonant doing a really good job of saving their first turret there. It's dangerously low though, so any push can come out of the side of Celsior Lions if they coordinate it well and get that first turret. And it looks like Celsior Lions is going to be going for this gold mine here, but Team Resonant does have vision here in their tri-bush. They're going to be able to see that. A Bright Bulwark will be used by VGN by mistake. It doesn't look like that's very good. Wolves will come out, but an excellent death from above will come out, and Taka will
Taka,
extra onto the
ooh,
gold mine and steal it. Excellent steal coming out from this Taka, and the kill will come out from Nick 40. Those Wolves really being excellent. Good Holy Nova will land onto Lyra, and a kill will be going down onto the sky. And this is looking really bad for the side of Team Resonant. Uh, that Bulwark being used, I don't know if you caught that, but really being used prematurely there. I think it was a mistap in the lane there right before they went down to the gold mine, and it wasn't able to stop the jump on from Nick 40 and Juryoku. So another ace here coming out from the side of Celsior Lions, and they will pick up the turret that they should have got with that first ace. A good Crystal Sentry will come out. So a lot of objectives being capitalized on. Something that you touched on just a little bit ago, how they didn't capitalize, but they definitely made sure to make good use of this ace right here.
Yeah, and there's a few things here. Blackfeather picking up that breaking point. Sky going with that Sorrow Blade first item as well instead of that Poison Shiv. And then, do you think it was worth them though getting that gold mine? Because that was I didn't catch how much it was, but it was probably more than what that turret was worth. But then they are losing a little bit of map control. So do you think that was an even trade off for Team Resonant?
Well, it was a good steal by Team Resonant getting that gold mine. It was a pretty good payout from the side of Team Resonant. But you're looking at as the team fight's going to break out here, the Wolves will be popped by Celsior Lions, and they're just going to be in chase mode here on the Lyra. Lyra will go down, then Otaka with that Mortal Wound applied onto him. Really good vision from Apollo. He's going to hit an on point. An excellent Holy Nova will come out, and they will pick up 2 kills in the jungle here. 8-0 on the side of Celsior Lions, and this is looking really, really bad as they do have a very large wave. It looks like they're going to get this tier 2 turret here, and Strat here just looking helpless in the lane. He doesn't have a lot of damage. He just has that Sorrow Blade. A Death Revival will try to desperately save his turret, but he doesn't use it on anything. The minions pound away on his turret, and the second Crystal Sentry will go down. 1 remaining for Team Resonant. A portal will come through, and the Divine Intervention will be coming down onto the fortress, but the Black Feather will go in. A lot of mortal wounds, but he's stacking his breaking point. Hits a good on point, and a Rose Offensive right through the sky. He's going to be able to get that kill, and he's going to back off and rotate that damage. And another clean kill coming out from the side of Celsior Lions. They're doing a really good job of capitalizing, and X-Resu will come over the wall and kill Juryoku. Fortress doesn't have any mana left, and it looks like Lyra and Taka can potentially turn this around. They do pick up their mid, and it looks like if they go for this fight, it could be very dangerous for the side of Team Celsior Lions, as Apollo does not have that Divine Intervention ready for him. They will secure this mid, though. And it looks like the teams are just going to reset here. Apollo, he knows there's vision on that gold mine. He's just going to pop that right quick and let the Fortress go on with his rotation there. He will steal one of those front camps, just deny a little bit of gold from Taka. And as you said earlier, going for that first gold mine, while it was a good steal from Taka, as we're actually going to look to see another fight here, while they're just really fighting, another Wolves will be popped onto the Lyra, and Lyra with no energy, she's just not going to be able to escape. A good death revival will come out, but the Sky will be going down. She's very hopeless, and on point will be hit on top of Sky, and Fortress will clean up this kill shortly. Taka here and the Kaku is just going to try to escape, and it looks like Apollo wants to stick around for this Crystal Sentry. It looks like Nick 40 will come, has the same idea, going to be getting that last Crystal Sentry, and this is looking really, really bad for the side of Team Resonant. Crystal Sentry will be eliminated, and this is very, very dangerous territory here as a full gold mine there. They do have a vision on that, but it looks like Celsior Lions won't be able to pop it. They haven't quite seen it yet, and the gold mine will come through for Celsior Lions unless VGN can get a miraculous steal or Taka can get this here. Oh, another engage will come
Ooh,
out. Yeah.
man.
Okay, so what are you thinking is happening right now? Like, what do you think?
Uh,
What do you
uh,
think they got to do to come back into this game?
they just have to turtle. They gotta stop trying to take these gold mines because every time they go, they're just gonna die. And then this Black Feather build, he picked up that Shiver Seal. So with the new changes, it gives him more attack speed. So I guess he's going for more attack speed build here, but it doesn't output a lot of damage just with that Poison Shiv and the breaking point. So I would have rather seen him go for a Sorrow Blade or maybe even a Bone Saw than that
They are
Shiver
infused here,
Seal.
so that
Yeah,
damage
yeah,
that you're
they are infused. Man, every time those wolves come up, man, they're ready to go.
Ooh, the wolves will be popped here, and it looks like just another engage from Celsior Lions. But it looks like Team Resonant will be able to escape. A good portal coming out from the side of Team Resonant. And they will be able to just hang on a little bit longer. Lyra will heal her team back up. But it looks like to me that Celsior Lions does have full map control. They have that vision in their enemy jungle. It's going to take a lot for Resonant to come back into this game. They're going to really have to, like you said, turtle and just
Yeah,
try to farm.
I think they waited too long too. They definitely need to try and go for that other gold mine.
Yeah.
And then after they lost that second turret, they're pretty much just stuck at that choke point.
Well, the Wolves will come out here, and it looks like Taka's in a dangerous position. Crucible and the Fountain will come out, but very late from VGN, and another double kill will come out from the side of Celsior Lions. They're just going to completely demolish the side of Resonant, and the last turret will go down. Last two Vein Crystal turrets left, and we keep talking about dangerous situations for the side of Resonant, but they do have a big wave coming into this. Whoa, and
Oh my
the
goodness!
skies. Oh Lord, her
Oh
health
my!
bar just gets destroyed, and isn't looking like Team Resonant has any kind of hope to come back into this game. Taka in a bad position, the Wolves will come out, and this is just overkill here. It looks like Celsior Lions really just showing their dominance. Wow.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I don't know another word to describe it other than wow.
Are they gonna get aced here? Are they going to really try to fight this? Diviner Intervention will come out onto the Black Feller and heal him. But it looks like Celsior Alliance is just toying with their food here. They have a lot of defense on this fortress.
Yeah, it felt kind of like a broken record there. They're just gonna fight and heal and come back, and Taka maybe Taka's thinking he might try his luck, maybe not. But this gold lead is growing, and it's growing very quickly, almost at 10,000 now.
It's dangerous positioning.
Yeah, very, very, very dangerous. Very, 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 very hard to come back from this. And they're always ready to go.
Looks like Fortress will get that kill onto the Sky. And they're just going to be running through the jungle. Taka trying to escape here.
Taka did go for that Dragon's Eye second instead of the Clockwork or Broken Myth that you usually see. And
well, they're going to clean up this Taka here.
Yeah.
And he's dead. Not very much that they can do here.
Well, they did prevent the ace, so that's one thing.
They were able to do that. Black Feather just getting a CS here in the lane. They're going to be pushing into the enemy base here. Just going to be looking to clear out this game, already get the win. They've got a good wave coming in on this last turret. Last two turrets, rather. They're going to pick up this turret here. It looks like the Wolves will be coming out. And Team Resonant just going to stop. Going to try their best to stop the engage, but the Holy Nova will come through a good stun onto the Taka. And the Divine Intervention will heal that Black Feather 2 times on the front line. They will pick up the Sky. It looks like a lot of damage on Sky. A Holy Nova almost stunning Taka as he goes in with that Exretsu, but another Divine Intervention, that Echo being used onto Black Feather. And it looks like this is coming down to, can they hold it? The Taka just trying to make a hero play, and he's going to get absolutely deleted. And it looks like here, Celsior Lions will be able to take game one after they clean up this turret. A very strong outing coming out from Celsior Lions. Strong comp here. Divine Intervention. Just being... Divine Intervention's really keeping that Black Feather alive on that front line. And Celsior Lions with a dominating effort here in game one, 22-1.
Yeah, that was a very dominating game. And especially with, I guess, an off-meta pick in Fortress there. I mean, they just played... They played really well. Yeah, he's a strong pick if played in the right situation.
I think that's the best place for a Fortress to go, in that last position where you can use Fortress really as a strong counter pick here. We're gonna look for start of the second draft. What are you looking for Team Resonant to kind of change about their approach here, as they are down a game to Celsior Lions? Celsior Lions definitely proving that they're not a team to be taken lightly. What do you think that Resonant needs to do to try and take a game off of Celsior Lions to keep this series going? And what do you think that Celsior needs to do to try and get another dominant draft and close the series out?
Well, first off, something I just noticed here, both Jerryoku and Nick 40 were both at 100% kill participation, which I think is very impressive for both carries to have that, especially with the amount of kills they had. But going forward, I think Uh, maybe try and take that Grace off the board, but then that leaves open the Turnwalker or the Varia. So I don't know. The Grace wasn't the game changer. It was. I just think that they got outdrafted and they were on A side, so maybe they can try and outdraft on B side now. Maybe perform a similar draft if their hero pools are big enough. So I don't know. It's just they just got. It was just such a dominating game. It's kind of hard to pick like one or two adjustments for them.
So let's talk about the builds again. On the side of Celsior Lines, they did go that poison shiv first, and I know we touched on it a little bit, but do you think it ended up being the right decision to get that early mortal wound for the side of Celsior Lions? Do you think they should have stuck with the traditional serpent mask on the Black Feather, or
I
what do you
would
think
like
the
I would
yeah
like to see the traditional build for Blackfeather there with the Serpent's Mask and the Breaking Point. Just the only reason I don't like the Poison Chip is I just feel like it lacks so much damage compared to the Serpent's Mask because it builds out of Barbed Needle and attack speed rather than a Barbed Needle and a Heavy Steel.
yeah
And that Heavy Steel compared to that Barbed Needle, it's just so much more damage.
well when you're playing your composition so well like Celsior Lions did, I think they were able to successfully trade off that extra damage for the utility of the Shiver Steel, and they were so far ahead that infusion, I don't know if you caught it, but they did infuse at level 8 when they got their first overdrive. So definitely good use of the infusion, good awareness that they had the lead. They were crushing and absolutely dominating the game. I believe that the infusion just really puts your team ahead where your team was lacking in damage in that carry position, as we're debating the Serpent Mask versus the Poison Shiv. You definitely get a little bit more out of the infusion. Infusion isn't, I believe, infusion isn't just damage. It's cooldown. It's
Attack
defensive
speed
stats.
and yeah, the weapon gives you more attack speed and more armor and shield, and then the crystal infusion gives you cooldown and then the armor and shield as well.
Right. So, do you think that they infused at the right times? Do you think that infusions were something that Team Resonant could have possibly used to get back into the game?
I did the thing about uh, goodness, Celsior was once they did get those level 7 and level 8 infusions on their carries, and once they got those infusions, they were already so far ahead at that point. They just kept on constantly infusing and progressing their items faster than their enemies. So I do like that they're infusing and just really putting the pedal to the metal and pushing that advantage as hard as they could.
Yeah.
With Team Resonant though, with those infusions, I feel like their builds are progressing so slowly. It would have just really stalled them out even more.
Sky Sky was kind of forced there to get a lot of defense, and that's not generally the position you want to be in when you're playing that weapon power Sky. You want to get ahead. You want to make sure that you're doing your best to output the most damage that you can, and forcing a carry like that to go defense early really kind of hinders your progress in the game. So we
Yeah.
can talk about it as yeah.
Also that Sky, she got a Sorrow Blade first, and then a Breaking Point, and we usually
Yeah,
see Weapon Sky built like Vox with that Poison Shiv first, and then Breaking Point, and then sometimes you'll see them go Aegis and Metal Jacket before determining which item they want to get. And
yeah.
I feel like that's what she should have done there. They were getting snowballed, and that Poison Shiv is really cheap compared to the other weapon items. And that Sorrow, the Breaking Point would have given her more damage, more attack speed, and then she could have got tankier, and then maybe picked up an infusion once she got a tier 3 defense item, and maybe they would have. I mean, I feel like that would have given them a better shot to turn that game around.
Perhaps.
And
Well,
we
in the end,
are.
Celsior Lions did take that victory. We're gonna come into this next draft, a Churnwalker ban for the side of Celsior Lions.
I actually really like that Trimwalker ban there because it really forces them to either ban Vario or that Blackfur, that Grace, and then Celsier's gonna get probably one of those 3 heroes right now. They pick up that Black Feather again.
That's a pick that worked for them in game 1, and you know the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
Game.
I feel like they might go with. I feel like Celsius going to play an Arden in this game with that Black Feather.
You think so?
I think so. I don't know. I'm just going to make a bold prediction here.
I think Resonant definitely has to try and get this Grace, that there's absolutely no reason to give the Grace back over to the side of Celsior Lions after getting completely whopped by it game 1.
Yeah,
that Black Feather and Grace combination just really strong.
Or they could pick Bandit here. Oh, they're actually going to pick the Arden up. So I'd assume they would ban Grace here.
They have to ban Grace here. If they allow, there's no reason for the Grace to go through.
You can't let Black Feather and Grace go through on the same team.
No, that's
especially on A side when you've got a pick and a ban in between.
Right.
And another pick. So
expecting a Grace ban to come out here. We're gonna see what side of Team Resonant does decide to do. A couple seconds left, and they will ban Sky. Interesting bans. Maybe they're. Well, what do you foreshadow? They're trying to pair with this Arden that hinders a Vari and a Sky ban. I'm not quite sure what direction.
Yeah, I don't know what direction they're going either.
Well, maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's what Resonant is going for. Maybe they want to continue to keep Celsior line.
I think Celsior will probably go with a Ringo ban here. Or they're going to go with a Vox ban.
So they got to ban Vox again. Celsior is like, look, man, if you want to give me this Grace again, well, we're going to take this Grace again. And it looks like that's what's going to happen. Celsior is going to get this Grace and this Black Feather, unless we could see a sneaky CP or weapon power Arden come out from Team Resonant. Highly unlikely, but perhaps.
I have won a ranked game with CP Arden.
It's pretty strong.
It's really fun to play.
It is.
Talk about slow clear speed though. I mean, him and Talk are right there with those clear speeds. What do you think we're gonna see here? I mean,
I truly have no clue, and the Ringo will come out.
I like that. I do like Ringo with the Arden though, because Arden can help get Ringo out with the Vanguard if Black Feather dives him.
Yeah, but it's going to be so difficult if Celsior does decide to go for this Grace. You're just going to have 2 heals and right in Ringo's face. And I'm pretty sure with this Ringo pick, Celsior Lions might go with this Grace Taka and just go full on dive for this Ringo.
Full on dive, full on sustain. But they go with that Spap instead.
Spap is a good flex pick. Blap definitely viable in the captain and jungle CP positions. We also have seen weapon power Baptiste come out before, but highly unlikely. I think this is going to be a jungle CP Baptiste if we're just looking at it based on the meta, but a captain Baptiste could be possible, and that's what it is. Looks like a captain Baptiste with this weapon power glaive in the lane. It could possibly be, and a CP jungle Black Feather.
I actually really like this glaive pick.
Yeah,
because they can just punt that Ringo into a horrible position and force that Vanguard out early, and then Ringo. I mean, I assume if it's support glaive, he'll probably get an echo, and they can just throw that Ringo all around. Rhyme, interesting pick
from Resonant. Well, they did ban away that Sky, so perhaps this was premeditated that they wanted this Rhyme. Maybe this is a comp that Resonant has been practicing and they do feel good on. Rhyme into a triple melee composition. It looks like it's going to be a CP Black Feather. CP Black Feather notorious for being the strongest jungler in this current patch. I think it does match up pretty well with Rhyme in that mid to late game. Even the early game if Black Feather is able to snowball. But Rhyme into a triple melee comp generally and historically has done pretty well. So it's difficult to get onto Rhyme.
Rhyme is just one of those heroes. He's so hard to kill too. Once he starts ramping up his heroic perk there and getting that barrier, and then especially if you pair that with Arden, give him that barrier, it's just going to be extremely hard for them to kill this Rhyme.
Well, we're hoping that the Arden's going to be able to successfully use his Vanguard on that Ringo. You don't want to be wasting Vanguard too much onto Rhyme. Ringo's going to be pretty defenseless without that. So we're going to be looking for Resonant, the captain player. I believe it's VGN, to throw down some godly gauntlets, and we're gonna get into the game here pretty soon.
What do you think the win conditions for both teams are going into this one?
Well, it's difficult for Resonant. I think they've put themselves in a little bit of a hole here, going up against Celsior Lines again. Celsior Lines has a really strong dive composition. They want to get onto this Ringo. They want to get onto him early. Glaive is definitely a very good hero for that in the early game. And Ringo on the side of Team Resonant. Resonant is just going to have to protect this Ringo. They're going to have to root with that rhyme. Going to have to land good stuns. And it looks like a substitution will come out for the side of Resonant, I believe. The support being switched out. So we will see Dancing Unicorn in at the Arden for the side of Team Resonant.
Nick 40 also subbed out for
Young Jay, I believe.
Jay, yeah.
And Juryoku. So a complete roster change here.
Oh, yeah, yep.
We're looking at two completely different teams, and maybe this Resonant team will match up better with Celsior Lions. But definitely look for Dancing Unicorn he has to land good gauntlets, has to be able to separate Ringo from the triple melee composition. Otherwise, Ringo's just going to be living a nightmare this entire game.
Yep, and Celsior rushing straight for this Elder Treant again. I actually like it better because it's going to be really hard for them to fight that rhyme level 2. But it looks like they're coming too, though.
Oh.
Well, level 1 action here.
Early engage here. Celsior Lines looking to get this here. They're just kind of juggling back and forth with the side of Team Resonant, and Rhyme will secure that. Good afterburn will come out from Glaive, but he's unable to get that. A good pickup from Rhyme. That's what they need. They need to get the advantages that they can, as much as they can early on. And they're just going to see a traditional reverse rotation here come out from side of Team Resonant, making sure that their carries get those gold and XP shared. And it looks like Celsior Lions will be doing the same thing. We're going to look at a Captain Glaive here. So it wasn't that Rome Batiste that we were talking about in the draft, but it is a Captain Glaive. Definitely interesting.
Captain Glaive does have the good utility with that stun that can knock enemies back into your team or away from your team. So very good peel and engage tool with Glaive. Don't really see him as much anymore, though.
So what do you think this Glaive, since I haven't seen very much of Rome Glaive, but what do you think that he's going to have to build here if he wants to peel for his team successfully?
I would definitely expect an Echo coming out, just because that way, if they do decide to just get this, they can do one of two things with the stun. They can either punt Ringo into their team and delete him and force that Vanguard out, and then echo the stun and do the exact same thing again with no escape. Or they could punt the Rhyme out of the fight and then focus that Ringo down without that Rhyme, building up probably Dragon's Eye stacks and that fortified health.
Yeah.
So I think that's the two directions that they'll go.
Team Resonant here, they did successfully steal the mid of Team Celsior Lions. Good denying gold and experience from Celsior Lions here. It's very important. Those mids really do give a lot of experience as the time goes on through the match here. Candy will come out from Celsior Lions. It looks like they want to push this. And an afterburn will come through. The Ordained combination will be hit onto the Ard and then canceling out that Vanguard. Early engage here, it looks like we're just going to trade even. Arden dangerously low. He does have that flask, though. He's sitting half health. And they're just going to sit with this wave under the turret. Wave is candied. Not very much is going to happen here. They're looking to rotate down and get this middle sentry. I like the rotation from Celsior Lions.
Yeah, I like how they came down as a team. So if Rhyme did come by himself, they could easily take him out as well. This game a little bit more slower pace than that last game, though.
Yeah, at this point, I think in the last game we saw a couple kills already, so it's definitely good for Team Resonant to notice what wasn't working game one and just kind of try and play their own pace here against a dominant Celsior Lions team in the matchup.
Yeah, and this Black Feather looks like he's going to be going for the Serpent's Mask this game, picking up that heavy steel and tier 2 armor there. So definitely going to
Yeah,
be
early
able to be very
defense.
durable against this Ringo.
How do you feel about the motive plates? It's very early. I generally don't see black feathers in the rank queue go tier 2 defense so early on against Ringos.
Yeah,
I do see it come out after that first tier 3 item though.
yeah. I haven't really been watching the lane matchup a whole lot, so I don't know if Ringo's been doing a lot of poke damage or not. But good
Perhaps
rotation
that
here from Celsior.
good rotation from Celsior indeed. The Rhyme only surviving because of his heroic perk, all that fortified health he's gonna be getting, and Rhyme does have that tier 1 armor and that tier 1 shield, so it was a little bit tanky.
It does look like
Looks like
Rhyme's going for that Eve first item. I know
interesting.
it's kind of it used to be standard you'd see that first item, but now you see like a Shatter Glass or a Dragon's Eye first. So
Oh, and an afterburn will come out onto Rhyme. They will get first blood. Celsior Lions really showing that they know how to get this first blood. They've done it twice in a row now. Game 1 and Game 2. Able to successfully pick up that mid, denying gold and experience from Rhyme. And I want you to talk about this Eve of Harvest pick. On that first tier 3 item for Rhyme, we see a lot of Dragon's Eye come out for Rhyme, but do you think that Eve of Harvest is a good first pick since they don't seem to have a Mortal Wound?
I would much rather have them go with or see Rhyme go with a Dragon's Eye instead of the Eve because Celsior is triple melee, like you said earlier. So they're just going to be going dive, dive, dive.
Right.
And so if they're diving, Rhyme can just be sitting there building up his stacks because Celsier's main goal is going to be take Ringo out as fast as possible.
Right.
So
Since
so if
Rhyme's
they're
not the
all on Ringo,
focus.
yeah, Rhyme could be building up those stacks easily and then hitting his Valkyrie too because he does have that
Right.
up for just a lot of damage.
And a good combination will come out onto the Arden, but it looks like Team Resonant is turning this fight around. Rhyme really surviving on this front line with that Eve of Harvest. So it looks like, at least for this fight, the Eve of Harvest definitely allowing Rhyme to be that super front line for the side of Team Resonant, and good lane pressure coming out from the side of Team Resonant. But if you took a gander there, Team Celsius Lions did use a lot to try and get Arden out of position. They used a fear, and a good afterburn will come out onto this Ringo, a good Ordain as well, and the Ringo will get stunned. And it looks like a Rose Offensive will come through from Young Jay as he tries desperately to get onto this Ringo. The execute will come down, and it looks like Young Jay just wants more. He has that Serpent Mask, and Dark Hour will secure a second kill onto Dancing Unicorn with a bad mojo to the face. An empowered one. Those empowered bad mojos really hurt, and he does have this Dragon's Eye. Gonna be
Yeah,
going for the gold 9 here.
sometimes you see Baptiste go Clockwork first or Shattered Glass first, but I really like the Dragon's Eye first.
Well, how do you feel about that? Clockwork versus Dragon's Eye, first item. Uh,
I feel the Clockwork is more for trying to get
Peel, right?
heal, yeah, and this they're just gonna be go 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 go. So I definitely like that because there's just there's three melees trying to dive onto
Right.
Ringo, so it's not going to be really hard for him to hit those the bad mojos. So I really like that. I'd assume he'd go for that Clockwork second because his Fearsome Shade is up on a really short cooldown once he starts getting it level 2 and overdriving it.
That's what it looks like Dark Hour will be going towards. Clockwork second item. He is sitting
I
at 2-0 here.
I know some Baptistes have built Clockwork out of the jungle just to get that double Fearsome Shade. Do you think we'll see that, or do you think we'll see a Broken Myth instead?
Oh, you mean that Echo?
Yeah, the Echo.
The Echo pickup with the Void battery here. I think we're going to look for a Clockwork here for the second item, and then I think he's just going to go into that standard pick here, but a good
Yeah.
aggressive afterburn will come out onto the Arden, but Arden's not the person you want to be afterburning. He is very tanky, and his heroic perk does allow him to take generally less damage than other heroes might take. A reflex block will be used by mistake on Apollo. I guess he thought that ult will be landing on him, but he doesn't. A good gauntlet will come down, trapping all three members of Celsius Alliance, and a good fear and a lot of damage will come out onto the Ringo. A good bad mojo into the face of Ringo will take him pretty low, and Ordain will come out, and it looks like this Rhyme really being a tanky front line, a huge bad mojo will hit Ringo, and it looks like it's going to force him to go back. But Rhyme really just being the tanky front line that he needs to be for his team. So far, so good. Dancing Unicorn not able to get very many stuns, or any stuns rather.
Yeah, the gauntlet was kind of in an awkward spot right there. He didn't really jump very far and
Right.
just kind of stuck there. I do
He
like
just
how
kind of
this
threw it down.
I do like how this Rhyme is going for that tier 2 armor shield early, but I would like to see him go for some more damage instead of just kind of cutting his build off, because if they are gonna win this game, he's got to ramp up that damage.
Yeah. If Ringo is going to be the focus, generally that would mean, like you said before, just free stacks for Rhyme. So Rhyme, towards the end of these team fights, and I think these team fights with a full built Rhyme and a full built Ringo, with good peel and itemization from the Arden, these fights are going to last a while, and Rhyme is definitely really good in fights that last long, getting those stacks and just being so tanky on the front line. It looks like Celsior Lines just pushing the wave here, and they're going to rotate down to this jungle. Do you think we see them try to get the gold mine? They have infused
Yeah,
at
they both
level
infused,
9
so
and
they're
10.
gonna be looking for some type of objective here.
Yeah,
And
and here's
Ringo
going to
and
come through.
Ryan both backported, so
Yeah, they don't
should
have
be
vision.
should be pretty easy for them to take this gold mine.
Yeah, will come through from Dancing Unicorn, and you notice it's a little bit too late. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do very much.
And Black Feather typically a counter we see for Ringo, but with this new Spell Sword double monocle build, do you think that gives Ringo more of a fighting chances against Black Feather, and maybe he's turning the table, or do you think Black Feather can still just absolutely just blow him up?
Well, Blackfeather still does have the potential to do a lot of damage onto the Ringo, as an afterburn will come out onto the Rhyme, but it's a Rhyme. You can't really. Rhyme is never really caught out against triple melee comps, and it looks like Ringo will get focused. Really bad positioning from the Ringo, but Rhyme just doing his best to survive here. Another afterburn will come through, a Vanguard onto the Rhyme, but Young Jay focusing him, getting a lot of breaking point stacks through the course of that fight, and it looks like Celsior Lions, after that Ringo goes down, they don't really have a steady source of high damage on a backline, which is really what they need. Blackfeather was able to single him out and kill him. And I think the Spell Sword double monocle build from this Ringo, it's very strong if you're ahead. I think you have to be ahead against these
Yeah,
melee heroes. If you're not able to output damage and get ahead very early on, it's very difficult to come from behind against these triple melee compositions that are made specifically to kill Ringo the carry. So
I think the real difference in that fight right there was Celsius was infused and Resonant
yeah,
wasn't. I
right.
feel like if Resonant was infused, Ryan would have been able to pick up one or at least one kill, because that Baptiste fell really low early in that fight, and he was trapped in that gauntlet.
And I think that's just bad awareness from Resonant. They definitely had plenty of opportunities with Celsius showing themselves on the map. All you have to do is take a peek at your scoreboard, and are they infused? Yep, they're infused. Well, we gotta hold on a team fight for a little bit longer, but they do choose to fight Celsior Lions as they're infused. Looks like Celsior Lions will re-up their infusion, so it will be a while before Celsior is not infused for an even fight with Resonant, but it looks like they're going to get this gold mine completely uncontested, and Dancing Unicorn, no vision, just giving map control and objective control over to Celsior Lions. It looks like Resonant not really interested in fighting very early on, and I just don't think that that's what you want to do with a Ringo. I think Ringo wants to be pushing the envelope and fighting, but he's in this disadvantage so early. Do you think it's possible for Ringo to come back into this?
Well, he does have his 3 damage items, so
That's
and
a
he's got a
plus.
reflex block. I would like to see him grab an infusion and see what they can do with that
The gauntlet
infusion.
will come out, but Ringo ulting in the middle of the gauntlet, just getting completely destroyed. A triple fear will come out. And it looks like Young Jay just performing really well on this Blackfeather 5-0-2. He has that Shiver Seal. And this is going to be extremely difficult for Team Resonant to win this game. You've got triple melee, focusing on that Ringo, and Ringo just deciding to use his Hellfire Brew in the middle of this enemy composition. Just not a good look. Maybe it was a
Yeah,
mistap. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but even without the mistap potentially, Blackfeather does have this Shiver Steel, and it's going to be so hard for Ringo to escape from just like the clenching claws of this Celsior Lines composition.
yeah, and what we talked about earlier, Glaive does have that echo already as well.
Yeah, he does.
And Rhyme had a lot of gold in his pocket, but he went out, bought an Aegis instead of picking up another damage item. Do you think that was a good choice for him, or would you rather seen him pick up that Dragon's Eye?
I personally would have rather the Dragon's Eye come out. At this point, you can't really count on the Ringo to carry because he's just dying way too early. You need a steady source of damage from the side of Resonant to just try and come back into this game, and it looks like they will kill the gold mine right before the Kraken does come up. Kraken available, and Celsior Lions doing a really good job of keeping their infusions up. Dark Hour looks like he is saving up gold for this Broken Myth. That will probably be his next item. But yeah, Rhyme just needs to get this Dragon's Eye. He's at this point he has to be the carry, and a good afterburn will come through at a complete flank from the side of Celsior Lions. A good fear will land, and the Valkyrie will be completely missed. Arden with the over the wall Vanguard, and Young Jay just when you get to a point where Blackfeather can completely destroy a Rhyme, I think that you're doing something right if you're Celsior Lions.
Yeah, definitely. And this Ringo, he just has no chance in these fights. He had an infusion, he didn't have time to pop it. Like that's how fast that
Yeah.
they killed him. It's just as Glaive's using his echo, he's got that double stun. He basically can just put him wherever he wants him.
How do you feel about this echo coming out from Arden? It might be too little too late. Ringo in a 1v3. He will get
Yeah,
feared.
I would
Go
like to
back
see
into
him.
your base,
I like to
he
see him
said.
use the echo on his Vanguard, just to
Boy.
just to give more. There's more sustainability for his carries.
Oh, but Celsior Lions, it looks like they may have overextended here, just stayed a little bit longer than their welcome was given to them. But it looks like Ringo will go down here, and just unfortunate from the side of Team Resonant. Celsior hounding just like a pack of dogs, just trying to murder, absolutely destroy Resonant here in these team fights. Young Jay still fearing, and a good fear backwards, a good ordained, good
Wow,
combinations from
that
Celsior
was
Lions.
really
Just
good combo.
wow,
Wow, that was pretty to watch.
a lot of synergy from Team Celsior coming out, and that's going to be the game, a perfect game, and really perfect in
Yeah.
every sense of the term. They infused well, they dominated objectives, didn't drop a kill, didn't lose a turret, got every single gold mine. They just did really good here. But are they going to troll a little bit here? And it looks like they
They blew the
will.
perfect game.
Resonant rip the perfect game. But in the end, Celsior Lions will pick up a dominating 2-0 victory over the side of Team Resonant. Better luck next week, Team Resonant. Celsior Lions really showing that they're not a team to be slept on here. Performing really well against this Team Resonant lineup. Even after subbing out their starting lineup from game one, it looks like a strong team all around, even with these substitutes.
Yeah, definitely. So, Celsius Lions putting the hammer down tonight.
Definitely. GG, well played to
GG,
Team
well
Resonant. And a victory will go through Team Celsius. They definitely have something to be happy about tonight.